What's up everyone and welcome to another video. Today we'll be talking about the new AoE4 patch that just dropped today. I want to run through the changes that just dropped here in before we are getting started on this week's tournament that I qualified last weekend for. So very relevant for me to, of course, take a look at this, and also very relevant for you if you're playing the game. So changes are coming, civs are getting rebalanced, and there's also some new events, cool stuff on the horizon. It's all live right now, so you can take a look at it. And yeah, let's go through it. So, basically, new expansion, and they're pretty happy where things are at. So now they're going to change a couple of things, though. We've got a new event, a game mode called Conquest Event. It says plant your flag into the battlefield and look down upon your enemies in Season 10's second event, Conquest. This event also introduces the aptly named Conquest Cash game mode, where players will fight for dominance by seizing capture points and cross the map. Guard your treasures and trophies with unwavering pride. After all, you can't have them, no one can. Starts April 29th, which is in about 7 days. So 1 week from now. We got a new monument, new portraits, look pretty cool. We have some new coat of arms as well. So Mangonel, Trap, some flags. New challenges, you can look at these yourself. I'm not going to go through them. New game mode, Conquest Cash, Battle for Control. Over the cash and Conquest Bounty, the longer you hold one, the more you'll be rewarded. The hill, over time the hill will upgrade and provide stronger and more devastating rewards to unleash on your opposition. Sounds a little bit like King of the Hill. Cool. Alright, gameplay. This is what we are interested in. Not so much the game modes. We want to see gameplay changes, balance changes. So there's some AI updates. Cool. Always fine to have AI updates. This, however, this is big. Now we're looking at hotkeys. Hotkeys are a huge topic. It's a huge topic for most people that are looking to get better mechanically. You have to have good hotkeys, and now with these new hotkeys, we now have the ability to bind a select all currently elected types. I assume that's select all that you already have selected, but the additional units you haven't selected of that type. Then select all economic units on screen. Can be cool if you have a lot of villages or something you want to move quickly. Select all economic units on screen. Yeah, that's the one I just read. Sorry, I got confused. Select all military units on screen. Nice. Select all melee infantry, ranged infantry, cavalry, siege. So this kind of reminds me a little bit of a select all siege or select all cavalry, which is kind of like a default hotkey that I run, but I override it with a control group. And this kind of reminds me a bit of that, but the difference would then be all the units that are outside of your vision, I would assume, are then not selected when you use this key. I'm trying to think about what the use for this really is, but maybe it can have some use where you bind all your units on one key, and then where you're microing, you can then look at the fight and then click between them. That's maybe cool. We'll have to test it out. Select all traders. We usually only have select all economic units. Select all trade ships. Cycle through idle scout units and cycle through idle religious units. This is cool. I really am happy that we finally get this, because I think we currently have one that's similar. Actually, let's check what the current one is. Cycle, where's my caps lock? Cycle through individual religious units. Cycle through idle religious units. So you can select religious units that are now not doing something. And I guess that's the same with cycle through scouts. But yeah, we can see we have select all traders and everything now. That's cool. I'm actually, I'm going to rebind that right now that I'm at it. Cycle through idle religious units. Caps lock. Let's go. Awesome. Next one. Maps. General map changes. Corrected an issue that prevented Ronin from being hired. Okay. Map-specific changes. Enlightened Horizon. They fixed a berry patch. The closest one has been removed for each player. Okay. An additional berry patch shall spawn behind the player's base next to their deer. Sacred sites are now spaced out further away from each other. Neutral market has been replaced with an abandoned outpost. A large gold vein, a market, and a wolf's den will now spawn on the far edges of the map. Relic spawn count corrected for FFAs. Relics have been tuned to distribute more fairly. I need to see this. I'm gonna take you to the maps. Let's take a look at Enlightened Horizon. We have that one right here. Boom. Really interesting, because this is a tournament map. It's part of the new map pool for the main event of EGC Classic 3. So let's quickly take a look at how those secret sites look, the new POIs, and that berry spawn. So we spawn on the hill, we have no berries close. That's a really big change, because having no berries means that it's a lot harder to open up with civs like Abbasid and Ayabet, Delhi as well. Then we have the berry patch down here now, and another one here. And it seems that's a pretty strict spawn. On the map, we still have the two main merchants here. We now have a POI here, the Vision one, Bandit Outpost. We still have the same spawn for Lost Ronin, and then a wolf's den up here by the trade post. I like this. Wolf's den's cool. I don't really feel like these are spaced more out, are they? Sacred sites are spaced out further away from each other. They're the same, no? I feel like these are closer than normal. And then the deer packs are now spawning here. Is that also a part of it? Interesting. Alright. I think we can exit this one. Carmel. For large deer, 2 deer packs of 10 appear for each player instead of 3 packs of 7. So now you have 20 deers instead of 21. Okay. Large deer packs avoid spawning next to each other and will distribute more evenly on the map. Okay, let's check that out. Carmel is here. Because right now we have clusters of deer, and they're all together, which means you kind of have to pro scout or push them all together and build a tower or something. But if you have to now spread them out more... Okay, interesting. I'm on the right map, yeah? Carmel? So, this is a group of 10. I've never seen that before. So we have 13 here. We have 13 here, so that's 26, 39, and where's this last? Oh, there it is. So 39, that's 42, that's 52, so instead of 60 deer, we now have 58 deer, because we still have 6 in the base, because we lost 2. Yeah, so we lost 2 deer, big tragedy. We can exit this one. Let's go next. All right, now comes the juice. Balance and bug fixes. General changes and bug fixes. Minimizing a rank lobby page no longer reveals opponents' names. Oh, I didn't know you could do that. That's cool. Using a taunt in a rank lobby no longer reveals players' names to opponents. Yeah, I've got baited into doing that a couple of times. Fix potential crash in Agincourt. Fix soft lock that would occur player if they disconnected and then reconnected during the lobby countdown. Game now. Yeah, I've actually been stuck in that. That's the opposite side. Game now correctly detects slot drivers. Fix the crash that rarely occurred when playing large player matches with certain civilizations. Dropping a carcass with scouts while being hit or delivering a hit will no longer prevent you from being able to pick up carcasses without scout again. Okay, so that's a bug that I think usually happens when you picked up or something, you got hit, and then you had to actually drop something that you weren't carrying. I hope that's the fix. Fix an issue where pid mine text description displayed outdated information. Okay, cool. Next up, Springle nerf. Range reduced from 8 to 7.5, and range resistance reduced from 6 to 55. That's good. They got nerfed with the Season 10. And now they're actually nerfed even more, which is... I think it's good. I think this will finally put them into a nice balanced point, because the range is long, right? And they're longer than all the range units that you pretty much have. And so getting close to them, you always take damage. Now this is going to make it a little bit more of a vulnerable unit. That's good. Fishing boat shoreline fish gather rate reduced to 65. So that's basically berries for villagers. Fishing boat deep water fish gather rate reduced to 7.5. That's basically deer. I think I could say. Yeah, I think that's basically deer. And the AI players will be more aggressive after small scale attacks if the squad is almost lost. Okay, whatever. Caster mode UI now has panels underneath the tech progress bar showing the current unit number and the unit cap for scholars garrisoned, prelates and black riders, imperial officials, bannermen and lords of Lancaster. Oh, nice. It's really cool to see that caster mode is being updated again. Such a long time where we didn't get any updates. Overview statistics card in caster mode no longer swaps players' numbers. Cool. I think I know what they're talking about. That's sort of on the side when we have different numbers. doing our observation. All right, let's get to the civilization-specific changes. There's not going to be a lot here, but it's going to be enough to balance out the previous changes. So Byzantines now have their system cost decreased from 125 to 120 stone. That makes the opener a little better, feels better in general. You sort of don't have to gather as much. You could even skip gathering. Chinese, the Grenadier, have a range increase of a half tile, and the cost has been decreased by 20 food, making this now a 220 cost unit instead of a 240 cost unit. So it costs a little bit less than a knight now. That is really good, because they're barely used. Grenadiers are slow, they don't really do much. So yeah, it's good to see that they're getting that change. All right, updated the buff indicator for achieving the Yuan dynasty to more clearly describe the benefit. All right, let me actually check that. Yuan dynasty. Buff indicator. Well, that must be in-game then. I think I'll skip it then. 10 discount on all units. I'm looking at Shushi's Legacy. I apologize for that. Yuan dynasty. Villagers, officials, and military units gain 50% speed. I'm not sure what it said before, and I'm not sure that is actually what they're talking about, but it should be fine. Delhi's alternate now have Howdah effect decreased from 30% to 25% HP. So the Howdahs is basically I believe it's a stable upgrade. No, it's an archer range upgrade. Here we are. They now give tower elephants, you can't see it, there we are. Upgrade tower elephants to have elite crossbowmen as riders instead of archers. They get 25% HP and 4 ranged armor. This makes tower elephants really, really strong. It's a good upgrade, and it has a slight nerf now. I don't mind that. The same with armored beasts. Elephants late game are incredible, and I don't mind getting a slight nerf here. Still good in Castle Age. Professional scouts research time increased from 262 to 350 seconds. So that's, how much longer is that? That's a minute and a half-ish longer. 1 minute and 28 seconds. Yeah, that's a pretty big deal. We usually get, I would say, if I remember correctly, it's about 7-8 minutes for pro scouts. So that's going to be 8-9 minutes now. That's a fair bit later. That's usually when people transition into Castle Age or have a lot more units. So it does matter. Maybe not for the average player, but it does matter. The skull cost has increased from 130 to 135 gold. Dome of Faith has been updated as well, but it don't say how much. Let's see. Scholars at a discount of 55 gold. So that would mean that instead of 75 gold, they cost 80 now. Yeah, because scholars are 135. So 80 gold now for scholars. We've come a long way from 65 gold scholars. Now they're costing 80 and 135 if you're doing Tower of Victories. This is a pretty big nerf to Tower of Victory, honestly. I'm not really sure I like that. I think Tower of Victory needs something soon. H3 fixed an issue where the Burgrave charge bonus was incorrectly displayed on ranged infantry units. Okay, whatever. Japanese, the Yumi Ashigaru cost reduced from 30 food, 35 wood to 25 food, 35 wood. That means the Yumi now costs 60 resources. That's 20 less than a normal archer. This is a wild buff. Because when we're talking so small numbers and they get a 5 cost reduction over time with more production of them, that feels a lot different. And the food consumption must be a lot less as well. So Yumi Ashigaru, I mean, this unit is becoming more and more spammable. I wonder if they needed that change. I didn't quite feel it, but maybe they do. Japanese buff? I know a lot of people are looking for it. That's cool. Malians. Musafati warrior cost reduced from 50 food, 30 gold, to 45 food and 30 gold. Again, one of those 5 food difference. I think Musafati warriors are extremely good. In late game especially, they have such a good stat. Essentially, they have so many upgrades, and their stats are actually quite tanky. I think they're quite good. So seeing a change like this, I wonder if it's needed to have a unit that now costs 75. I mean, that's very cheap. I would not have made that change myself. Fix the Malian trade post exploit as reported by the community. Okay, I haven't seen that. Monastic Shrines technology is available in Castle Age. Monastic Shrines is on their prayer tents. So this was an Imperial Age tech. It's now a Castle Age tech. It allows for improved production within the influence even without an over. This is actually really cool. Makes Castle Age feel better for Mongols and sort of moves the focus a little bit away from Khaganate Palace, which is such a strong landmark. We all know about Fast Imperial. There are more changes though. Whistling Arrows, cost reduced from 50 food and 125 gold to 50 food and 75 gold. 50 gold reduction. Let's take a look at the Ovu. Whistling Arrows. That is such a cheap upgrade now. And that's a big upgrade too. Because 5 seconds extra attack speed of movement speed is huge. Like, that's a big deal. And makes the deer stones less important. So this change is nice. Improved version costs 125 stone to match the original cost, and the research time is only 30 seconds. You can get that so fast now. Additional torches, cost reduced from 200 food and 500 gold to 150 food and 350 gold. So it's a 200 resource buff, or I should say reduction, which is a buff. Where is that? Additional torches, Castle Age upgrade. So it increases the torch damage of all infantry and cavalry by 3. That's nice. I like that. Alright, raid bounty. Cost reduced from 100 food and 250 gold to 75 food and 150 gold. So that is this upgrade. Increase the raid income from igniting a building to 50 food and 50 gold instead of 25. That upgrade is very good and something you should always get. This is a huge buff. It makes feudal age so much better for Mongols. Mongols, man, they're getting some good upgrades now. I wonder if that's going to actually make them a lot better. Not just a little bit, like a lot better. Because these upgrades were so expensive before, now they're actually cheap. Research time also reduced, so you can get them quicker if you see the fit for it. Fixed an exploit allowing Mongols to get more resources from the Wolf's Den. Fixed a bug with a Mongol raid bounty bonus only provides resources when destroying a building. This was a big problem because it pretty much happened in every single game. A building would have to be fully burned down before you would get the bounty. Now it's a lot better. Ottomans, Akinji. So this is the double arrow firing Vizier point unit. Cost reduced from 90 food and 80 wood to 80. So it's 160 now instead of 170. That's a decent buff. The production time has also been reduced by 1 second. So minor stuff, of course, but Akinji are very good. They're very, very spammable. They're kind of like horse archers. They just come a little bit later than horse archers would. And then we have a nerf to go together with the deep sea gather rate and the shoreline gather rate. The deepwater fish gather rate for Rus Lodia fishing ships are now 142. And they're still, I mean, Rus ships are so good. They're just so expensive, so they're a little bit slower in the beginning, but they're very good. Then there are variant civilization changes, and that's House of Lancaster, Knights Templar, and the rest of the variant civilizations too. The following changes apply only to the variant civs. Lancaster Castle can no longer be placed within 8 tiles of an enemy capital town center. I guess that's to go together with the Barbican and Kremlin not being able to do that either. So, I mean, that's just to make it in line with other similar landmarks, so that's nice. Demilancer charge speed attack. Charge attack decreased from 16 to 12. Yeah, that's a big nerf, actually. That's a huge nerf. It's about 25%. And it makes the Demilancer charge, the rating potential of Demilancers, much lower. Because you're usually just charging in, doing damage, maybe 1 attack, get out again. You're not doing that as much now. So you will do a lot less damage. It means that you'll need more Demilancers. Yeoman cost increased to 50 food from 45. 95 resources now instead of 90. So they're more costly than longbowmen now. I don't know if this was necessary. I think it's the movement speed that's the problem. It's not the cost. I am skeptical. I think that the yeomen are extremely good, but I think the movement speed should be reduced, and I don't think that they should... I think they should have normal movement speed like archers, and then they have their unique upgrade and stuff. But I feel like this is a little bit much. I'm almost paying 100 resources for an archer. I mean, that's almost halfway to a crossbow. They're 120. And they slightly reduced the speed of synchronized shot projectiles. All right. So House of Lancaster getting a nerf again. I wonder if this Civ is going to struggle now. Because Lancaster, honestly, it's a very simple Civ. And if you remove many of these things from them, it's kind of bare bones. So I'm wondering, with all the recent nerfs they've gotten, I think we're in the third one now, if they're actually going to be very good at all. I'm not sure. Knights Templar, base villager wood income reduced from 65 to 63. Nice. Probably still too good, honestly. I mean, Knights Templar are one of those civs that have the best water economy simply because they can just go on wood and don't have to go back and forth. Plus, they have some good HPs. That's also fixed now because where is it? It's not here. Elite Hospitalier Knights. Armor decreased from 5 melee, 6 range to 4 melee and 5 ranged. Makes Elite Hospitalier Knights worse. They also get a nerf on the HP. I'm not sure if that's needed. I feel like it's so difficult to play Knights Templar with Elite Hospitalier Knights anyways when it comes to playing a longer game because it's such a slow unit. You pretty much want to play Chevalier every time. The sergeant damage has been increased in all tiers from 9 to 10, and 11 to 12, and 13 to 14. So that's a big buff. That's like getting +1 damage from the blacksmith. Decent buff, decent buff. The Genitor range has been increased by a half tile. Genitors, I think, are slept on, but they're a very micro-intensive unit. These are the javelin thrower horsemen. So if you're not used to using them, they will feel very, very foreign. But they are quite strong in my opinion. They come from Kingdom of Castile and it's from the Arch range. Genitor here. 60-60. Quite a good unit. Then we have heavy spearman bonus, so this elephant that's been increased. It's kind of funny. But I guess that's needed when we don't have gunpowder. Condottiero. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that or butchering it. Pronouncing it correctly or butchering it. But this unit got a nice buff now. Damage reduction from gunpowder sources increased to 33% from 20, and their armor has been increased from 1 melee and 1 ranged to 2 melee and 3 ranged. I wonder if this unit is actually viable outside of just being an anti-gunpowder unit then. It comes from Republic of Venice, and I think it's only 120 gold. So it's extremely, extremely cheap. Yeah, 19 seconds production time too, and it's fast. And Hospitalier Knight is now correctly selected alongside military units and not as religious units. Nice. Needed that change. Good stuff. Shushi Legacy, you got Grenadiers. They got the same buff on Grenadiers that the Chinese did. That means the cost has been reduced, and it means that the range have been increased. All right. Well, there's something here. We are aware of a bug causing the Knights Templar Kingdom of France commandery to extend to naval units and are working on a fix. But isn't that what it says? Excuse me? Military units are produced 15% faster and cost 5 less gold? That's interesting. Maybe they are fixing it. Anyways, hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or want to talk about some of the changes here, comment section. I'll see you guys down there. And yeah, if you are interested in coaching, I will be providing some information in the description as well that you can look at. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.